The last menu that we will tackle is called Forest Tools, and this is going to give us the power to what is referred to as instantiate. That is going to allow us to take our scattered objects and actually convert them into editable polys, which means we can share that with another colleague who doesn't have Forest Pack. First thing is first, let's click on the Utilities tab right over there at the top. If you do not see Forest Tools here, click this button right over there, Configure Button Sets. Let's scroll down to the bottom and right there, Forest Tools. Now we can click and drag this and replace any of these over here. If however you want a new button, underneath Total Buttons, click that upwards to add an extra space, click drag Forest Tools and click the OK button. So let's zoom into the very first one that we have over here. So the preset that I've used is just simple leaves scattered on this simple surface. Selecting the Forest Pack, let's go to Forest Tools. So we got a whole bunch of options here, and the first option is called individual items. So let's click instantiate. We do get a warning that says all instances created previously from this forest object will be deleted. We'll tackle this error in a moment. Let's click the yes button, and what's going to happen is if I press F3, you can now see that every single leaf has been created as an individual item. If we go underneath the layers tab, you'll see how many items we actually created. So the instantiate has done its job, and now we can obviously share this with somebody who doesn't have Forest Pack. Let's grab this. Let's actually press the delete button, go to the next option. Let's click the Forest Pack. Let's go into Create Group. This option is going to do the exact same thing. It's going to convert all of the Forest Pack scattered items as an editable poly, and it's going to do an extra step by converting it into a group. So let's click the button. We get the same error. We can click the yes button, give it a couple of seconds. If we go underneath Scene Explorer, you can see right over there, it's got all the items, and all it's done extra is just made it into a group. Okay, let's grab that. Let's delete. Next Forest Pack. Selecting this Forest Pack, let's go to the Tools bar, and now we have Move to Layer. What this one's going to do for us, it's going to convert everything again into editable polys, and it will move it into a layer for us, which we can change the name of. We can immediately freeze the layer. We can show them as boxes. So those are two extra options that we can do. So let's test this one out. Let's click the instantiate button. We're going to say yes, give it a couple of seconds, go into Scene Explorer, and there we have right over there our custom layer that has been frozen, and at the same time you can see that they're all visually squares. Grab all of them, let's delete that, unfreeze the layer, delete all of them again. Next Forest Pack, let's select it, go back to the tools. The next option here says auto delete old items. Now what this is going to allow us to do is if we make a change to the actual Forest Pack item after we've done the instantiate, we can still update it by deleting the old objects or keeping them active, and then we can make the change. So what we can do is as follows. Let's go to individual items for now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click instantiate. Let's click the yes button, and there it's done exactly what it's meant to do. Now the Forest Pack item itself is technically empty now. If we want full control of it again, we can click the enable button, and as I do that you can see that I've got both versions now. I've got the Forest Pack item right over there, and I've got all of the scattered items, which means that if I go into the Forest Pack object and I actually manipulate this, let's say I change the distribution, you can see right over there I've changed the distribution. I can go back into the Forest Tools, and what I can do is I can now instantiate it again, and that's where the error comes in. So if I click this button, it's going to warn me that the previous instantiated instances will be deleted. Do I want to carry on? If I say yes, the old ones get deleted, and I'm now left with the new ones. So let's click the enable button again, and let's go back into the Forest Pack. Let's change the settings again, and now what I'm going to do is underneath the tools, I'm not going to delete the old items. So if I instantiate one more time, I now have both sets. I've got the old and the new because I unticked auto delete old items. Next option is disable at N. So when we create instances, we don't need the instances anymore. Basically what this does is it takes and disables the geometry list from the Forest Pack itself, which means you need to click the enable to reactivate that. enable before start. This sets the geometry to custom automatically before creating the actual instanced items. And then finally we have the forest exporter. So if we click the open button, we can actually choose a whole bunch of different items that will export to an XML file. And the final one is the material optimizer, which we've already dealt with when we were dealing with materials. So if we optimize this, we'll see this menu again. And just to run through it, we've got the rendering engine. We can apply to the selection or the material library. The standard settings to apply. One thing to know is the exclude materials using these names, so trees and barks. These are the names of the materials that ForestPack have given us, where it will ignore the forest color node. So if you remember, the forest color node was needed in order to create certain effects in the material rollout. The exclusion will be anything that has the name tree and bark in it, because those ones don't actually need to be changed in terms of tinting. If you intend on changing the tint of the trunks and the barks, you can simply come here and just untick that, or of course just remove the names there. And that is it for this lesson.